the Louvre. From the Da Vinci Code, Red Notice, to the amazing series Lupin, over 500 films and music videos have featured this iconic museum. I mean, can you blame them? As far as museums are concerned, this is the top, the best of the best. Averaging over 9.6 million visitors each year, containing over 35,000 works of art. It would take over 200 days to see each one for only 30 seconds at a time. But it's much more than just the Mona Lisa or the Venus de Milo. In fact, the first artwork you experience isn't inside, it's outside. The building itself is a work of art covered in hundreds of sculptures with a fascinating history that spans hundreds of years. The architecture in this museum is the definition of eclectic. The building bears witness to everything the Louvre has been, from its fortress moats to its iconic modern pyramid. Let's go beyond the collection of artwork to understand why the Louvre is one of the most amazing museums in the world.
It was built in many different times. Here we are in the Cour Carrée. This is the most ancient place in the Louvre. So here we are right above a medieval ditch. Imagine the medieval castle of this size, wow. And in the middle of the court was a dungeon. And we can see it also right below.
We're standing on top of a medieval castle. Well, one thing I really want people to understand when they're here, I mean, you walk into the museum so quickly, that the whole exterior of the building is covered in works of art.
Definitely.
Tell me more about what we're looking at.
Right in front of us is the outside ancient part of the museum. So that is the Renaissance facade. There is Renaissance sculpture, but in the alcoves there are other statues. And most of them are from the 19th century.
We're so used to going inside a museum, especially in the States, to experience works of art. But here you have to remind yourself that the outside was more important in some ways than the inside. And sculptures were really intended to be outside.
Definitely.
What are these letters? It looks like a crown, perhaps, that's up there.
The letters are for the kings.
Okay.
If there is a crown above the letter,
that would
is
make
a
sense.
symbol.
Sure.
That is logic.
We have a medieval castle, and then we have a palace. So there's so many different aspects of this building that were brought together to make the Louvre. Where are we going to next? So beautiful.
Yes. And so calm today.
We're in the Cour Napoléon, the Napoleon Court. So tell me, I feel like there is a lot going on here.
These statues are known as the renowned men. There are 86 of them.
86 of them, wow.
And this is just a small portion of all the other statues, because if you look above, there are some little children.
Oh my gosh.
And well, so just concentrate on the renowned men. So who are they? Famous men, artists, literary, and it's a way of telling the story of France.
Yeah, sure.
So you see here on this one, there is Udon.
Yeah.
Do you know this one?
This sounds familiar. I feel like I should know more, so tell me.
Well, all these men, there are little details to explain
in
who
each
they
one,
are.
Sure.
He's very well known for sculpture. I don't know, but maybe you know Benjamin Franklin.
I mean, that name sounds familiar. Yes.
Thomas Jefferson
or
George Washington. So he did their bust, and actually in the Louvre, the Thomas Jefferson is exposed.
Really? Who would have thought if you walk in here, we're right by the entrance, and you just take the time to kind of get closer, like, I mean, these are all relevant in some way. The first artwork you really experience at the Louvre is the exterior, the facade.
This is the first that you see.
Yeah.
So it puts you in a special, I think, condition to appreciate what you're going to see inside.
You have these beautiful facades, ancient facades, and then you have the amazing new entrance pyramid. Well, I think we're gonna head inside now, right? And kind of take a look? Well, let's do that. The Pyramid at the Louvre, a massive glass and metal structure designed by Chinese-American architect I.M. Pei. Reaching over 71 feet in height, spanning over 112 feet wide at its base, and weighing in at an impressive 180 tons. The pyramid is covered in unique, completely clear glass that took over 2 years to develop. Placed right in the middle of the Cour Napoléon, millions of selfies are taken with this iconic backdrop each year. But not everybody wanted it. In fact, years of debate would go on before its opening in 1989. So what were the issues? For one, how would it look with a modern design set right in the middle of a classic French Revolution-era courtyard? Secondly, the pyramid is used as a symbol of death in ancient Egypt. Many asked why place a symbol of death in the middle of Paris. Third, the Grand Louvre project was the brainchild of then-President François Mitterrand, and he had clearly lost his mind. Or so they thought. Fourth, what did a Chinese-American architect know about French culture in order to be entrusted to design such a huge landmark? There even remains a long-standing rumor that there are exactly 666 panes of glass representing Satan. In 2003, the bestseller The Da Vinci Code played on this 1980s rumor, which didn't help things. I hate to spoil the book and Tom Hanks' movie, but there were and still remain 673 panes on the pyramid. Sorry, Tom. Of course, once it was opened in 1989, it didn't take long for the visitors and French public to see the light and realize how this beautiful structure somehow complements the ancient architecture around it. While I love Renaissance architecture, it can often become very ornate and visually busy. So, I love how the pyramid's clean lines, scale, and light reminds us that the treasures deep inside this world-famous museum are as relevant and important today as they were hundreds of years ago. So, Tiffin, we have moved down into what I believe is the kind of the basement or underground. So tell me, what are we looking at and what's on these lines around the ground?
Right now we are entering the medieval part of the Louvre. Okay. And so on the floor there is a dark line which symbolizes the ancient wall. And as you can see, the ancient tower that has disappeared now. It helps you to feel the...
Like what was down
where
here.
we are, definitely. Yeah. And so we're going to see like real medieval wall. We are walking inside the moat, so not a place where people live, but we are below the ground.
This is the only museum that I can think of in the world where you are able to walk in an ancient moat.
What you have to keep in mind is that here it was a castle that was used until the 19th century, and then it became a museum. What I want you to notice is that you can see different signs on the stones, like hearts.
Yeah, is that graffiti?
They are not from in-love tourists.
Okay.
They are also medieval.
Okay, like I see the hearts and some like plus signs.
So they are what are called job marks.
Okay.
At that time, people were not paid per hour.
Okay.
They were paid per task.
Oh,
like
okay.
Uber
Per job or something.
Yes, per job.
Okay.
So what they did is to mark their stones.
Really?
And at the end of the day, everybody had a different sign, and so you count. I put this stone, and this stone. So you are paid this amount.
That's amazing. So this is not graffiti. Good thing to mention. So a lot of people probably are going to ask, how does this still exist? And then obviously the castle, which we were up above, has been flattened.
At the Renaissance, the medieval castle was out of fashion, so they really cut it down. But to cut down a moat, that is another job.
Right.
So it was easier to fill it.
Oh, fill it with dirt and...
With dirt
that makes sense.
Stones. And then during the construction of the Great Louvre, you know, in the 19th, they decided to dig it out.
Wow. So when we were upstairs, you saw the round floor, so that kind of tells you, so this was the dungeon originally.
Yeah.
And then right here, it looks like there was like, these two pillars were holding up something. Was
the bridge?
The bridge. Okay, so that's where the bridge was. Wow. So this part of the castle then, is this somewhere that people would have actually lived?
Yeah, actually that was a real living place.
Oh, wow.
And that's where there are some sculpture, many details.
All right, so we'll come in here. These doors are incredible. Well, this is totally different. So tell me, now that we're interior, where were we outside? So
on this side it is a square court.
Okay,
The Renaissance facade we talked about.
All right, so we just were.
And on the other side, that is the Cour Napoléon with a pyramid.
Wow.
And if you are, so we are inside a Renaissance room.
Right.
With antiques exposed. And if you are lost, always look outside of the windows. It is
to see which court you're at.
That would help you to see you and see all the details on the facade.
When you look at the building itself, you really get the understanding that it was a palace, like a fortress. I mean, the walls are so
Look
thick.
at this chimney.
Yeah, right.
It's a crazy chimney, you know.
Something I love about the Louvre is that I think because it was a palace and the way the lighting is, there are not many lights overhead that you see. It's just so beautiful, and all the light that's on that statue, oh my gosh.
She's like floating.
It is like floating. Well, that's what I always loved about the statue, is that as a work of art, it's like, that was the intent, is to make it look like she had just landed right at the front of the bow of the ship. So much history in that beautiful sculpture. And then here we are. I love this room, so tell us more about it, where we're at.
So this is known as the Salon Carré,
right?
The square salon.
Square, yeah.
Even if it's not square.
A little rectangular.
If you look really at the decor of this room, you can see this beautiful ceiling.
Oh yeah, you have to look up. You have to look up. Yeah.
And well, if this is one advice into this museum, say look up, look down, look on the wall, because well, there are some paintings, but really look everywhere. There are details everywhere. So on this ceiling, the different arts are represented. Here you can see, for example, the architecture is written below, and above the little angels are holding architect tools, and above it is written Lescaut, who is a great architect of the Louvre. The Renaissance facade is known as the Lescaut facade.
Okay.
Lescaut has his statue in the Napoleon court.
Right.
And below there's also several painters from all the countries. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo.
One thing I love about the history of this museum is it's like a respect of all these different forms of the arts, from architecture to philosophy to obviously like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Raphael. I mean, such a respect for all the different things and people who have come before.
Lots of layers, you know, because different times, different epochs, and that is the same with all the arts, all the artists.
I know people come with an agenda of certain pieces they want to see, obviously, but as you're walking down, I mean, as perfect timing, we have 3 gorgeous Da Vinci paintings, just, you know.
4,
right
actually.
Here. 4, that's right, 4. So.
Just on one small wall.
Yeah, so it's overwhelming. There's so much work here, but yeah, you may not realize some of the most important works you're passing are amazing.
This is one of the renowned men. This is Puget.
Oh, Puget,
a sculptor.
okay.
So you can see, as I told you, his tools to characterize his profession.
All these different statues showing so much appreciation and respect from the architects to the sculptors. It's just amazing. I love it. Thank you for showing us around, and
with pleasure.
And I hope, as everybody's watching, they just have a much better appreciation for the fact that, like we talked about, that this whole museum is full of art, but when you come here first, appreciate the fact that you are experiencing art first and foremost on the exterior with all these beautiful statues.
So the visit starts outside, so take your time before entering the museum.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.